Welcome, Dr. Karki. Thank you for being on the show.
Nice to be here.
So you tell me that you are involved in a lot of women's issues like women empowerment. How are you involved in women issues like empowerment and domestic violence?
You know, I work in psychiatry hospital, and I see a lot of women there. And most of the women who come there are coming there because of the domestic violence issues, because of abuse issues, and that's how they come to psychiatry center. Then going to the root of the problem, we said, let's go to the root of the problem and find out what can we do to prevent it. And as the first step in Rochester, that's where I come from, we formed Saathi of Rochester. That is especially for South Asian women. So we're a group of people from India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan. We formed a group, and then we started working in this direction.
That sounds quite amazing. Now, how can we address these issues among South Asian communities here in the United States?
Oh, there are so many issues. First is the language problem. Because women, because they are not very good at language, English language, they don't feel very comfortable talking to someone. So we found people who could speak in their own language, either Nepali or Bengali or Hindi, and that hotline they could talk to them. And the second one is there's fear that if they tell someone noise goes around, then they might be subjected to more violence. So we started renting rooms, private rooms, where we could give them safety. And a lot of these issues are so much interrelated. Then there's a lot of education to be done also. And it's a long process. And then for South Asian issues, it's a matter of culture also. So they're so interrelated. And it takes a long time, education-wise, and giving them courage and telling them that it's not their fault. They can work at it. So a lot of those things takes a lot of time, but it's a very rewarding once you see how much change you have brought in someone's life.
That's quite amazing. It's great to make an impact on people's lives one by one. Now, what politics should be implemented for betterment and uplifting our women in the community?
You know, politics is always sets the climate. In that sense, in that one is, the women must feel that they're empowered, they have equal voices, and every step of the government, so when it comes to the fundings are also given equally to the causes of the women. And at the same time, when the programs are implemented, women must have a say saying which kind of program they want to be implemented and where. So in that sense, politics must be sex neutral. So that otherwise, a lot of time what happens is most of the politicians are men, and they try to do things for women without knowing exactly what it is. And then they might have the best intentions, but the results are not always very good.
Gender equality is a very important topic to understand. Now, how can community itself, how can they be a catalyst for the South Asian diaspora, since it's so big?
You know, South Asian is a big one, but mostly the problems are the same. The first thing is the status of women in the societies. Always they are being dominated by men, and sometimes we have a feeling also. Other thing is educated people are educated and they won't cause domestic violence. And I tell people that domestic violence doesn't make any distinction between who is educated or not. It's a part of the psyche, it's a part of the psychiatric problem. So only the difference is people who are more educated, they know how to hide it. So in that sense, it's even worse with the educated people. So one thing we need to do is we have diagnostic methods. We treat it as just like PTSD. We use the same thing. And we educate one, and we have to educate the doctors. Because when the doctors when the patient go to doctors, doctors must know how to ask questions and how to find domestic violence. Otherwise, a lot of times women are not going to volunteer this information, and doctors have to ask probing questions to find out. And a lot of women are very hesitant to say it because there's a stigma attached to it. Somehow they feel that it's their fault that they're abused. We have to tell them that it's not their fault. They have to be encouraged. Once we find out, we have to be able to tell them, look, you don't need to worry, we can take care of it, we'll help you.
Right.
Because in South Asian circles, there are a lot of ways, passports being taken away, and then the livelihood, where are they going to live, all those things are there. So we have to be very careful with security problems, safety, and giving a sense of confidence that they can go on their own also. Even if they have to separate, they have to get divorced, it's all right, because life always is going to rosier than being subject to domestic violence all the time.
Right. And diversity, culture, faith, religion, beliefs, and how we can blend it all and exercise freely with our new generations. How do you think we can continue those traditions over here?
Somehow people think that, all the time people try to color things, and sometimes people try to color their weaknesses, their psychiatric illness, abuse in the name of religion, and try to mix it like that one. We have to make sure that it's not a part of the religion that anybody can beat anyone, and it's not to be accepted. So we have to make it very clear that nobody has a right to abuse you, nobody has a right to dominate you, everybody has equal right, and no religion has sanctioned these abuses. We have to make it very clear, otherwise always people in power try to use culture, religion, everything so that they can hold power over others and they can abuse them, and we have to make that very clear. And then it's not a part of religion, and the same way the young generation also, we have to make it sure that they don't have to live the same way that their parents lived, because usually domestic violence goes from parent to children and children to children.
Right. Well, thank you so much for all those beautiful answers. Not only did we highlight the medical part of MedLove, but we also highlighted the love aspect of it. Thank you, Dr. Karki, for being on the show here today. We really enjoyed having you.